Hello and welcome to FSI Feature Friday. Good morning. Today we are here with Mr. H. Rudy Sawyer, business consultant, and we are going to talk about how to identify your target market. What is it entrepreneurs and small business owners need to know about? Finding out whether there is a market before getting involved and invested, and finding that there is nothing.
All right. Well, certainly it's a pleasure to have this interview. The topic is certainly a critical one as we look at the idea of people wanting to go into business, wanting to start. And I think before I get into really the meat of the question, since we're talking business, one basic thing I would like to state is that no business is a business unless it has customers. Simple but profound. But the whole thing is that business revolves around customers. And once we realize that the focus of whatever we say is really about getting customers, no matter what it is, it's about getting the customer. Then when we talk about target market, we're talking about targeting potential customers for making businesses. So the market is really the area or the people, the demographics for potential customers of a business. Those who, and a customer is someone who buys a product. Simple, straightforward, nothing more. The person who buys the product of a business is that business customer. And targeting that potential market really depends on the product that you have to sell. Who is going to be able to buy, or who will most likely be willing to buy this product that your business is selling. And here again I go to another definition just for simplicity and straightforwardness as we go forward, because once I do it I don't have to do it again. Product really of a business could either be, is whatever the business sells. So when I use the word product, it could be goods or services. Normally you hear product or service, but actually a product is actually a good or a service. And so I use those terms with that understanding in mind. And you look at, there are certain products, particularly in our market, main tourism, that we call tourist products, souvenirs and gift items, right? Now, a souvenir may be a little trinket, it could be a basket, it could be a bag, it could be a hat, which has, let's say, example, a hat may have utility that goes beyond, say, somebody buying it as a souvenir. A local may buy it because, man, I'm working out in the outdoors and I need something to protect me from the sun, that sort of thing. Or a young guy may buy it because it's a fashionable thing to do. It could be a fashion statement. But then again, it could be used purely as a souvenir item, where a hat may be a locally produced one using straw, and somebody puts in raffia Grand Bahama on the hat, or Bahamas, then it changes to being something for this big market. If you, in the hat business or the fashion business, the hats that you will be selling will not be sold to the person coming off the cruise ship. You won't target particularly that particular client to become a customer. This person who's going to be here for just a couple hours, they will be interested in doing some shopping most likely, but they're just looking for something $10 to $20, etc. But you're in a market where you're into high fashion. Because Bahamians love fashion, and and you see the women hats for special occasions. There's a good example as well. So the thing is that in that case, your market is different from somebody who's selling a souvenir item. So what you will do, the potential business person first has to define who his customer is. Who is your customer, or who will be your customer?
Ideally.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So in terms of getting to targeting your market and then finding it, it's really identifying who your potential customer is. And once you do that, and I just use the examples just to show that there are different markets, different demographics, etc. will come in, and then you now go and see how you could actually identify these people in this particular grouping. Do they have the potential to buy your product? Would they like your product? People will buy it because it looks good, but a product is hardly ever bought because of its utility, but it is bought because it brings certain satisfaction or completes a certain desire. In fact, more desire than practicality most products will really serve. So that's important to know too. So somebody might, in the souvenir market, may be buying something because this is going to show off that they were to the Bahamas. So they will buy it, not because it looks necessarily good. They will put it on and make sure it looks good on them, but the main reason will be because when they go home, if they could show it along with their tan, it's a show-off sort of thing. I had a vacation to the Bahamas, all right? So that is important to know too. Where somebody else may, again, a local person will buy a hat for the same type of reason, but not necessarily show off in that fashion that they're talking about. But when there's a big concert coming on, I'm going to buy something to make me stand out. So it's still a show off, that sort of thing. So now once you know that, if you're selling a high fashion aspect, it's still show off. If you're selling a souvenir item, it may be a show off for a different reason. Now you want to go after people who have the funds to buy your product, all right? And if you're in a local market, you want to do a high fashion aspect. Do you have a wide enough market of people who are working at a level who could afford the high fashion aspect, who could use it at enough events, etc. So there are certain questions you'll have to actually answer before you go out there, based on the product that you want to sell. And then you now then go out there and you try to identify the potential for sale. And sometimes, again, a survey is done, with once that demographic of where your potential customers could be. Surveys of, certainly in food, testing and taste becomes very clear. We see it all the time. A new product comes on, somebody may set up a table outside of a food store, just to or inside a food store as well, just to give samples to taste. Or even at a festival, somebody might have a product and they may have a sample for you to try it before coming up. So all of that is identifying folks. But when you do that sort of survey, you normally get a survey questionnaire to find out if people like it. You will most likely say, well, if this is sold at a particular price, would you buy it? Or would you most likely buy it at a different price? Just to try to determine what sort of price it can carry. And you will direct that depending on what your cost elements are and what you could sell it for to make a profit from it. So the questions will have to be crafted in a way that they will actually sort of cover the range. You don't want to just leave it wide open and say, how much are you willing to pay for this? Because
Give them
I'll pay, yes. I'll pay $1. That's good, but it's a $25 item. So you direct where your significance will come in. If you find in high fashion you're looking for workers, again, you say, well, bankers, ladies may be the main, buyers of my product. Might be a female-oriented product. So you identify where they are. They might be the banks. Nowadays, certainly with the technology we have available, you don't necessarily have to now go through the process of physically going someplace. It may be a matter of trying to get emails of people, their Facebook, getting on Facebook, putting out these questionnaires, surveys, etc. online, but trying to identify it to the demographic, that area that you actually want to go at. And I think those are the ways you really go about it. Now, a lot of, particularly of a banker, and you put proposals out, entrepreneurs have a different approach than bankers. Bankers are always looking at risk. Entrepreneurs are always looking at the dreams. What could this will happen, not could happen, but it will happen, etc. But it's a balance in between. But the point being that you really need to be able to get real, get a realistic aspect, considering possible risk involved, the risk factors as well as the possibilities of that, and come up with something more realistic in terms of even setting your prices as well as those who may be willing to buy. Okay?
So we need to identify our market. We need to offer samples if possible, and questionnaires to identify where it is price points would be best for set product service.
Yes, but the basic assumption was the first one: identify the product.
Identify.
Yeah, the product. Okay. And again, we say that, but I don't know if it necessarily follows those businesses doesn't follow a step by one step, two step type thing. But you must identify your product. But again, I'm saying that sometimes going through identifying the market will help you identify what product you should get for that market.
Okay.
So it's either or. Some folks will go out there not knowing what they want to actually sell. So they test the market to see what the market wants or desires.
How do you do that?
The same way. I mean, you just by observation, sometimes you could see what are these people buying. Or you may put out a questionnaire to find out what do people like, without actually asking it for a product. It may be in a certain area that you may want to be. If you're looking for just something to do and not knowing what you want to do, so you can go that route, and then depending on how people respond, you can then help let that help you define your product. But in most cases, an entrepreneur does a business based on what they could do, what their talents are, what their skills are. I saw these investors, these multimillionaires, etc. This guy on TV the other day, and he's getting into a new area. I think he's getting into the casino business. And the interviewer asked him, well, what background you have in casino? The same as what I have with all the other businesses I have. Nothing, So does it make a difference? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really up to some people. Just know how to make money.
Yeah.
That's something I recognize. Just like some people are just pure, full-hearted salespeople. They'll sell you. They could sell anything. But let them run a business, it may be a different thing. Let them make a product, different thing. But they're the salespeople. So we need to find the actual what works. When I started my oil inspection business, I made a decision to first take the job as an oil inspector, not knowing anything about it, but I saw the potential for ownership in this oil industry of the service business. Much easier than it would be for me to start an oil refining company. You know, the expenses that I would need to get it started was minimal, and there was no Bahamian companies in that area. So I saw Bahamian ownership in that particular area right around the corner, and I took sacrifices of taking the job at a lower amount of money than I would have had offered to me on some other job. But I took it for the potential. In 6 years, I was able to start Epic Petroleum Inspection Company, which was the first Bahamian oil inspection business. But I took the job to learn as much as I could, and I knew it had to happen. The oil industry at the time was going through a slump, but it didn't make a difference. This was something I had to do. I had to do. I mean, everything I was doing was leading up to that. And, you know, Epic is still going on. I'm not an owner of it now, but Elkin Knowles still runs it and still going strong. But you just have to do. Sometimes you just have to do it. After you get all these statistics that a survey will do and observation will do, you still have to sit down and make the decision. Should I do this or not? And I don't know if the market conditions at the time really will make the final decision for you if you're a true entrepreneur. An investor, it's a different story. Market and statistics make a difference.
Yeah.
But for somebody who wants to do a business, it's more
Where your gut is.
the gut is, yes. Okay. But I still recommend that you go through all these aspects. At least you know what the statistic says. And once you know, then you could actually be prepared. It can prepare you as you go ahead, even if you make a decision against what the statistics tell you to do. At least you know it. All right? And you're prepared.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you all for listening in. This has been another episode of FSI Feature Friday with your host, Alicia Duncanson. Don't forget to subscribe for our newsletter for updates on our future podcasts.